The requirement here is I demonstrate how Akakpo Limited should record the cost of the site reclamation as at 31st August 2015 in accordance with IAS 37, provisions, contingent liabilities, and contingent assets. Now, in accordance with IAS 37, when an entity is going to be incurring some cost in the future and it meets the recognition criteria of a provision, which means that it is reliably estimated, there is a present obligation, and the settlement will result into transfer of future economic benefit embodying the entity, then it is prudent for us to make provision for that. Now, that future payment that has to be made must be discounted into present terms using the pre-tax cost of capital of the entity, and that must be then recognized in the financial statement. We mentioned that if the future payment in question or the future expenditure in question relates to an asset like a site reclamation or environmental cost or dismantling cost or landscaping cost, those kind of costs, then that present value will be included in the initial cost of the asset or even added to the carrying amount of the specific asset in question. However, if the future payment that we are likely to make does not relate to an asset, then we will recognize that provision in the P&L account for the year under review. But then on subsequent measurement, any unwinding must be recognized as part of the finance cost or in the P&L account, and then we build it up so that by the time that a payment is due, we have the money available to make the necessary payment as an entity. And so that is the concept generally that we need to understand when it comes to IAS 37. And we discussed that there are various situations or circumstances or events that may call for either providing or making provision or not. So for instance, when we come to warranties, warranties meet the recognition criteria. Why? Because there is an obligation that could be contractual or could be constructive in that regard, and hence warranties meet the recognition criteria. And so when we sell, boom, we have to make provision for it in the books. Then we spoke about environmental cost or cleanup cost. As I mentioned, that meets the recognition criteria, and hence, yes, it has to be provided for as well. Then number 3, repairs, major repair cost. Normally, we said that for major repairs, it doesn't meet the recognition criteria because if an entity sits down and say, oh, we've bought this asset, it is our goal that every 2 years we will be replacing the asset or we will be overhauling the asset, that is your decision. It's not the concern of IAS 37, and hence you cannot provide for that. However, if that future cost or the revamp cost or the repair cost is legally required based on the industry that we are in, then the entity must make provision for it, because in that case it meets the recognition criteria. For instance, for airline companies, there is a certain number of flights after which we would have to, service the engine, maybe change the cabin, and do various maintenance work on the aeroplanes. In that case, those future major repair costs will be provided for in accordance with IAS 37. Why? Because it is legally required by the aviation authority that the entity or the airline company undertakes those repairs. But traditional firms, you cannot just make provision for that. So provision for major repairs depends on whether there is that legal obligation attached to our license requirement to do it. If not, then we cannot provide for it. Then we spoke about self-insurance. Sometimes companies pay insurance and nothing happened. And so at a point, companies will be like, uh-oh, it's too much money given to the insurance companies and we are not getting anything in returns. For that reason, let's open an investment account, and instead of that premium that we give to the insurance company, we'll be putting that premium rather in the investment account. Then when something happens, we'll liquidate the investment and use it to deal with the thing that has happened. That's self-insurance. It doesn't meet the recognition criteria of IAS 37, and hence we don't provide for that as well in our books because there is no obligation. That's an investment account, not an insurance account in that case. Then certainly restructuring cost. When an entity is seeking to undertake a restructuring, they will be incurring some costs. Can the entity provide for that in the books at the year ended under review? The answer to that depends on the recognition criteria. IAS 37 states that an entity can only make provisions for restructuring cost when, one, there is a detailed plan for the restructuring, and then two, the restructuring plan has been communicated to those who are expected to be affected at the reporting date. So these two conditions must be present at the reporting date. Then we can make provision for the restructuring cost. There should be a detailed plan, and that plan should be communicated to the people who are going to be affected. Maybe some employees who are going to be losing their jobs, customers who may not be able to buy again, suppliers whose contracts are going to be cancelled, and any other interested party. It should be communicated. So what does that mean? It means if there is a detailed plan, but communication had not been done as at the end of the year, we cannot provide for it. If we communicate to people without a detailed plan, we still cannot make any provisions. And these are some of the things that we need to understand about, some of the events or transactions or circumstances that may call for provision to be either made or not in the financial statement in accordance with IAS 37. Then we come to our question here, what we have pretty simple. So the A aspect of the question is asking us to demonstrate how the site reclamation cost will be recorded as at 31st August 2015 in accordance with IAS 37. Acclaimed Limited obtains a license free of charge from the government to dig and operate a gold mine. Acclaimed Limited spent 6 million digging and preparing the mine for operations, okay, and erecting buildings on site. So far, we don't care about any of the information that we have read. Why? Because the requirement of the question said, how should the site reclamation cost be recorded? So the context of the question, what we've read so far, we don't care. But let's continue. The mine commenced operations on 1st September 2014. The license required that at the end of the mine's useful life of 20 years, the site must be reclaimed. Okay? All building and equipment must be removed and the site landscaped. At 31st August 2015, that is the year ended the examiner is asking us to work for, Acclaimed Limited estimates that the cost in 19 years' time of the removal and landscaping will be 5 million. And its present value is 3 million. So on the basis of this, the requirement of the question is asking us, how should the site reclamation cost be accounted for? Now, the amount payable is 5 million. The present value of that is 3 million. And so the 3 million will be the amount that we will be including in the carrying amount of the mine rig. That's all about that. And they have already calculated a discounted factor for us. So, Acclaimed Limited, the site reclamation cost shall be recognized as part of the carrying amount of the let's see, They said they have to remove the building and the equipment, so it should be part of property, plant and equipment as part of the carrying amount of the property, plant and equipment. At the present value. All right, at the present value. And so in that case, our journal entry will look like to debit property, plant and equipment with the present value amount, the 3 million Ghana cedi, and then we credit provisions. $3 million Ghana cedi. That is the answer to the question.